Bring us in, babe.
Welcome to
Coco
Caliente.
So, Nicole.
Yes?
This is, I don't even know what number episode we're on. We're over 100 now.
Like 107-ish?
107. You know, it's crazy to think that we've made it this far. Right? Doesn't it feel like bizarre?
Yeah, because that means it's like 107 weeks.
Is that what that means? But we've taken, well, there's been breaks between,
but we've
and you
done
were
it
gone.
We've done 107 weeks.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Especially where we started when we were like traveling outside of Michigan and hauling our equipment around, talking to people.
Oh my gosh, to think how we started this podcast. Oh, we were dreamers.
But anyways, and we thank everybody that's been along for the ride.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe down the line we'll go back to traveling a little bit. But obviously right now our focus is baby, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And everybody being healthy from COVID. And this week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's this Friday or this
the 22nd
Saturday is International Being You Day. And ironically enough, we're talking to the guy that invented that day.
Which is so cool.
Dr. Dain Heer.
I think
Heer?
it's
Heer. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to ask him here in a minute once we talk to him. But he's all about happiness and being you and being yourself to make you happy. What makes you happy, Nicole? Before we talk to him, because he's going to have a lot to say, I bet. But what makes you tick?
Really the small things. And I realized that yesterday. I choose to live in a town of 800 people.
It's technically called a village.
A village. And we've traveled the world, and this is where we choose to live. Why? Because this is where I think my happiness comes from. Quiet, small town, just like humble beginnings, humble people, nice, generous people that I like to surround myself with, and animals. My happiness, a lot of it comes from animals.
Yeah, and she's absolutely right. And I've gained a real appreciation for being in a place like this because not only do you get that slower pace, like I get a little bit of anxiety if I'm in a big city for too long because of even something like traffic.
Oh, do you? You never have told me that.
Well, not anxiety per se but it's just if I'm there too long, I start getting frustrated.
Totally.
Right? If I'm driving, especially when I have to do stuff for work and I go to the city, and I'm just like, oh my God, all these lights and all these cars and all these people. And I love people, but sometimes too much in one area can be overwhelming. You know, it just triggers all your senses at once. And, you know, some people are okay with that and they get used to it. But to think that, you know, right now it's not like we have the biggest yard or anything.
Right.
But we have a front yard. We have a backyard. We have a decent amount of space. We just put up this awesome fence. You know, and we're looking for a bigger space with like 10 acres or something like that. But you wouldn't be able to do that in the city. We couldn't afford that, you know?
Yeah, I think that I just know my happiness comes from... So are you saying your happiness comes from like this type of thing now?
This is where part of my happiness comes from. And I didn't realize I needed it. You know what I mean? Like I needed to slow down.
You got a motorcycle and you just like working on that out back.
Which we'll get to. We'll get to that after this episode.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it's a cool story, and I'll tell you all about it in the outro after we talk to Dain. I think I'm saying his name right. He's going to be so mad if I'm butchering it.
It's definitely got to be Dain.
And also drawing happiness from our baby. You know, and our relationship and you being pregnant and all the cool stuff that comes with that.
Surrounding ourselves, we're really good at who we surround ourselves with. Like,
very tight-knit group.
And they're just like the freaking best people. So I think we're really good at picking friends.
Yeah, well, and it's another thing that, you know, when I was looking up our guest, he talks about everybody helping each other.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like the group of friends and people that we surround ourselves with are all looking to help each other.
We all lift each other up, definitely.
Opposed to I'm feeding off of this person to get what I need, but I don't really want to reciprocate anything back.
Yep.
Right. I don't want to. I have this information that can really help this person, but I'm going to keep it to myself because I'm going to make myself better and I'm not going to help them out. If you have people like that in your life, or you feel like you're surrounded by people like that, that's toxic.
It is.
Get them out, and honestly, it's not even worth it. But yeah, no, I'm so looking forward to everything that we have coming up, especially our baby. That's the number one thing. And even just getting all the baby clothes and getting the crib ready and all that stuff.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's this really cute company in Michigan that I want to shout out.
Woot woot, shout out, non-paid advertisement.
It's called the Little Bubba Shop, and it's this online unique boutique for babies, kids, and moms. And I've put it on my story before. They've sent us such cute stuff, and then I got more stuff in today. And anyways, I just want to talk about it a little bit. So they carry a bunch of items from like specialty brands that you don't find in most places.
So it's like a boutique?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like organic clothing.
Wait till you see this from nature.
Wait till you
see
this romper, this adorable. Actually, I think it's like right behind you. What
do you mean organic? What's it made from?
That's a good question.
No, we're gonna have to ask him and let him know next time, or we put that on your story.
Organic cotton, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get you. Like organically grown stuff.
Yeah, they have great gifts for even the moms and.
Is it this box behind me right here?
Yeah, look at the cute. Look at the little romper behind that. It's so freaking cute. I'm obsessed.
Oh my God! So this is what I'm looking at right now. And Nicole, if you want, grab your phone and take a picture of it, so then you can post it.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, don't break your phone. Take a picture so when people are listening to the podcast, they can revert over to your story. And I'll describe it to you right now. So it's like a hand knit. It's like a cream white color. It's like knitted with a rainbow on it, and around the legs, it's like blue. It's really
got a
cool.
little like cross.
And has a cross back. Yeah, that's
totally
very
my
cute.
style.
Super soft, super sweet.
And so if you're looking for a great gift, I'm just recommending, it's called littlebubbashop.com. And actually...
this other one's really nice, too.
I know.
Be the good. Oh, how fitting.
Yeah, be the good with a little rainbow.
How fitting. Is there rainbow their like logo type thing?
No, that's just
we just happen to have two things with rainbows.
Yeah, I'm big into rainbows. It's like the 70s vibe I love. But you guys can go to littlebubbashop.com and enter code COCO to get 15% off your order because I'm such a good customer that they're like, hey, do you want to give some people a discount? I'm like, heck yeah. So check it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, without further ado, we hope you enjoy the guest that we're having on, Dain. He's going to say his name right now because I feel like I'm butchering it. The doctor. So I want to ask you something really quick.
Okay.
Doctor. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You can call me Dain.
Dain. Okay, but how do you pronounce your last name? Heer. Is that her?
Here.
Oh, my God.
Right here.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to... So I was watching, in preparation for this, I was trying to do my due diligence and watch one of your videos, or a couple of your videos. One of them was an hour long. It was on YouTube, which you have a lot of good videos, by the way.
Thank you.
And you have so high energy, so I'm going to try to match your energy as best as I can. But I don't know if I'll be able to keep up.
Oh, I think that won't be a problem.
Well,
I will try to keep up with you. How about that?
All right, let's do that. So,
okay, deal.
Doctor, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Our listeners here, we're going to pretend like, I'm going to pretend like I don't know anything about you, and I'm going to ask questions and stuff, but tell our listeners a little bit about you and what you do.
Wow, what do I do? So many awesome things. And I don't mean that from the arrogant perspective. I mean, I feel really blessed because I get to do all kinds of things. I mean, I guess probably the biggest thing for me is being a co-creator of Access Consciousness, which is a set of tools, techniques, information, ways of changing anything you want to change. I work with people's bodies energetically. I write books. I do all kinds of videos to try to give people tools. I have a lot of fun. And I also am involved in creating businesses around the world and currently building a resort in Costa Rica. And goodness, I like to live. I like to do stuff.
This episode is brought to you by Ancient Nutrition. You don't have to scroll very far down on your newsfeed to find a story about the restorative effects of collagen. It's all the rage, but it's way more than just hype. Get the very best collagen on the market from Ancient Nutrition. It has one goal: to transform the health of every individual on the planet with the history's most powerful superfoods. Whether you want to improve your body, sharpen your mind, or just feel like your best self, Ancient Nutrition makes supplements that get real results you can see and feel. Their best-selling multi-collagen protein powder includes 5 types of collagen. It is the first and only collagen on the market with clinically studied ingredients proven to help reduce joint discomfort as early as day 1. It improves fine lines and wrinkles after 4 weeks and transforms your overall skin tone after 8 weeks. Right now, Ancient Nutrition is offering 20% off your first order when you go to ancientnutrition.com right now and enter promo code COCO at checkout. That's ancientnutrition.com. Enter promo code COCO for 20% off your first order. ancientnutrition.com. Enter promo code COCO at checkout.
So all this stemmed from, if I'm not mistaken, from a point in your life that you, I guess from when you were a kid, you said when you were like 3 years old, you just wanted to be happy. And then as you were getting older, you realized that you hit a point in your life because you were a chiropractor, right? That's correct?
Yep.
And you hit a point where you realized you were unhappy for like 3 years. And you just kept trying to get out of that slump. And what was that like? Like what was going on?
Well, it's like, growing up, I experienced a lot of abuse. I experienced a lot of invalidation for being weird and being different than other people. And yet I never gave up hope. It wasn't until I got to about 30 years old almost. I guess I was 30. And I'm one of these seekers, It's like I know there's something different possible. So I was reading books. I was going to weekend workshops. I was listening to people. I was doing some of the weirdest stuff anybody's ever done and all I really wanted was to be happy again because I had lost it. And what would happen is I'd go to a weekend workshop and I'd be like, yay, I found the answer. Mm-hmm. And by Wednesday of the following week, it would feel like the universe crashed into my head again. And finally, after this happening over and over and over, finally I woke up one day and I'm like, I'm done. And I said, universe, you got 6 months. Either my life changes or I'm out of here. And it was one of the first times in my life I remember truly having lost hope. And getting to that point, though, was this amazing gift because a couple weeks later I had a session of something called Access Consciousness bars. Mm-hmm. And I went into this session literally depressed and suicidal and literally planning the date in which I was going to end my life. And I thought I was going to get out of here. And something changed so dynamically in that session that I came out of it with a gratitude for being alive. But even more than that, a sense of the space of what it could be to be alive. And I was like, well, if it feels this way to be alive, I'm in. Let's go. So I've been going.
And I know exactly what you mean because I feel like we've all been in that moment in our life at some point or another where, you're getting up, you're going to work, you got bills piling up, you don't want to be at work all day, you get home, you have all these things to do, and you're like, man, there has to be something else out there. And everybody easily does this too when they go buy the lottery and they have those 5 to 10 minutes in their head in their drive where they fantasize what it would be like to be doing whatever they want to do, right? Yeah. I have this ultimate freedom if I just had this one thing. And, I think you're right that it all just comes from being happy and being able to do the things that you love. I mean, the money helps. But how can somebody get to that spot, or what are the tools that you suggest to people in the work that you do to make their lives better?
Oh boy, how long is the podcast? Because I can talk for hours on that. Because, that's a really big question because each person is experiencing something different. And yet what I would say is one of the common themes is a lot of the people that get to this place of unhappiness or get to this place of depression or feeling like they can't and they tend to be the sensitive people of the world, the people that really have a lot of caring for other people and the world. And they're so aware of the suffering that is going on in the people around them, but also in the world at large, that it weighs on them so heavily and they feel like they can't do enough to change it. And so one of the things that I try to get people to acknowledge is what you're experiencing right now. Is it actually yours, or are you actually aware of everybody else and what they're experiencing as their world right now? And we have a question you can ask, which is, who does this belong to? or is this mine? And if what you're going through lightens up at all, at least some part of it isn't actually yours. You're just picking it up like a big psychic radio receiver. Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is go, okay, if it's not mine, I'm returning it to whoever it came from, and recognize that you can't heal something, you can't change something that isn't yours. So that's one of the things, that's one of the tools that can be very helpful. And there are lots of others.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when I hear that, it makes me think of the age that we're in now with social media, where it's so powerful in relaying information in seconds. If something happens, you know, across the ocean on the other side where it's nighttime, I'll know it now, today, if I'm awake. You know what I mean? Like, if I have my phone, I have access to that. But on the flip side, I feel like it's easy to compare my happiness and my moments in life with somebody else's perfect moments on their feed and on their social media. So, you know, how can somebody mitigate that, right? Like, wow, this person is so perfect. Their life is so perfect. They're making good money, obviously, because they have all these followers and they can do all these great things. And I'm just stuck scrolling on my phone trying to look for that,
right.
You know, what I can do.
Well, and that, one of the things you need to realize is so much of what is on social media is a perfectly curated image of perfection. You know, that beautiful photo of the wife and the husband and the 3 kids in front of the waterfall. They don't tell you that right before that they had the biggest argument of their entire relationship. And, you know, the kids were throwing up on everyone. And you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, look at our perfect vacation. Don't you wish you could be this perfect? And so people are trying to prove a lot. And if we can recognize that, one tool that can really help with this and everything else is what's true will always make you lighter. A lie will always make you heavier. So if you see that and you get this weird twinge in your gut, what we're conditioned to do is we go, oh, well, that's because I can't be that perfect. When in actuality, 99% of the time, it's our awareness that there's some lie in what's being shown to us.
Yeah.
And if we can just start there, what's true makes you lighter, a lie makes you heavier. Whether you're watching it, whether you're listening to it, whether you're reading it, whether it's a post on social, whether it's in the media, wherever, the things that make you lighter are the things that actually will, number one, are true for you, but number two, will actually nurture your being and give you more of you. So one of the things that we can all do starting right now, and it's actually really friggin' easy, is if something's making us heavier and we're reading it or watching it, just go to something else and find whatever it is that makes you lighter and watch that and engage with that. And the more that you engage with that, the more it sounds a little esoteric or maybe spiritual to say the more you're feeding your soul, but it's kind of like that. It's like we need to make the choices for us not to get swept up in the heaviness of the world. That doesn't do anybody any good. We have enough people doing that already. We need to make the choices for us to head towards what is light. And in so doing, we give ourselves an awareness of what it actually is to be us and what our being requires.
Yeah, and that also ties into something that I saw in one of your videos that I really liked, because I feel like I've been practicing that already, and I try to get Nicole to get into this frame of mind. But like you said, she's so in tune with her own feelings and how everybody else is feeling that it weighs heavy on her. But you say it's just like, just be yourself, right? And don't worry about what anybody else thinks or wants you to be. And I say it simply like, you know, I don't care what other people think. I just do what I want to do. And if they feel some type of way about it, well, that's on them. That's their problem. That's not my problem, right?
I love that you have that perspective. See, for the rest of us, it's a tough thing to get to that perspective. But if you can, it's golden because, you know, and also one of the things that social media engenders is a reliance on other people's point of view about you, and which translates into a reliance on other people's judgments about you.
Yeah.
And the difficulty is if we're going around trying to chase validation from others, we're never going to achieve it. It's not going to happen, because guaranteed, just when you think you've got enough followers and enough likes, there's going to be some troll out there that's just looking to bring happy people down, that's going to post something that brings you down. And if you make that relevant in your life, that is going to be very destructive. So one of the other questions I love to give people is this relevant? Okay. And if we ask that, a lot of the things that we're going to find are things that actually are not relevant, or they're things that we have made relevant, things that we have pretended are relevant to us when they're not, because that's how we grow up. We grow up learning to make relevant what our parents made relevant, what our friends make relevant, and now what the entire social media community makes relevant. Yeah. But what if it's not relevant to us? If it doesn't make you lighter, it's not relevant to you.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. That is very true. And it's like everybody is trying to have the same opinion and mindset, but it doesn't work for everybody. It's just not the same. And if that's not what makes you tick and makes you happy, then you're just going to be stuck in this infinite loop of I don't fit in or I'm not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this Saturday, right? This Saturday is International Being You Day, which
yes.
I don't even know. So if I wanted to make an international Be Happy for Victor Day, like how does even one go about making an international day?
I love that. I think we should have that. I think that would be awesome. Everybody contributes some mojo to Victor. I love it. Actually, there's a registrar of these national days. I didn't know this either. And when somebody on my team came and they said, hey, what about having a Being You Day? I went, yes. What do we have to do? And they said, well, here's the deal. They get about 20,000 applications a year. They accept 30.
Oh,
and
wow.
I said, awesome, let's do it. And so long story short, we got accepted for it. And you have to go through this application process and give them all kinds of stuff, and who knows what they're looking at. Mm-hmm. And then you have to pay a buttload of money to actually have this, which is fine also. Okay. Mm-hmm. I figured it would be such a contribution to people. I wanted to do it. So that's how you do it. And it was an interesting thing because I wrote this book, Being You, Changing the World, back in 2011.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize until after we applied, I'm like, oh my God, it's the 10th anniversary of this book. This is so cool.
The irony.
Truly. The beautiful irony in this case.
And how does somebody practice International Being You Day? Should I light a candle? Should I blow up some balloons? Make a cake?
I have an idea. Light a lot of candles and blow up a lot of balloons if it makes you happy. And, maybe champagne in a bubble bath surrounded by candles and balloons. I don't know, a birthday, whatever. So there are lots of things that you can do. But in actuality, we've got a ton of content that actually starts at noon Central Time in the U.S. And we've got, at this point, I think we've got 6 or 7 hours of content, which is just... Some of it is conversations, but what it really is interacting with it. Like if you go there, and it's at beingyouday.com, and if all you got to do is go there, or you could go to my YouTube channel, it'll be live streamed there, and just watch and see what shifts in your world. Because we've all had, think of an experience you had that after it, you were just like, you just went, yes, that. I have more of me now. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted to create this day as. And it's not about promoting anything. It's not about selling anything. It's just about, hey guys, if we be us, we got some different choices that are way more awesome than what we seem to have available now. And this door is now open. Let's go. And for me, it's like, what can I contribute to you in being you? And some of the ways of participating might be to, make a post with some vulnerability in it on Being You Day, or a post that uplifts someone or something. Make a video of something that being you is for you, or maybe like a weird, quirky capacity or skill you have, or something that's, that actually is you showing up online, you beyond the image, and just post that. And please tag Being You Day, if you will. That would be great. Because what I'd like to do is go through and see all these unique things that people do that I've never heard of, never thought about, that are actually them being them. And in so doing, when we see enough people who are actually willing to be them and put it on the line, not that it has to be painful to put it on the line. Usually it's joyful. But we get inspired and go, wait, I've been sort of hiding a bit. Maybe I don't have to anymore.
So do you think there is a way that we can live in a world where everybody likes everybody? I mean, that seems like that's something that I've heard you say that it is possible, and that's something that you would love to see, that everybody, when they see each other, it's not like, oh, hey, how you doing? And just keep walking. No, hey, how are you doing? Oh my God, nice to see you. Hug. Everybody sees a hug. Everybody you see is happy, excited. Oh, you look great today. Oh, don't you have that job interview? Or didn't you just get this thing? I'm so happy for you. Not selfishly, what did you do this weekend so I can tell you what I did that's better than whatever you did?
Yeah, exactly. Is that world possible? I say absolutely. And are you going to like everybody? Not necessarily. But you won't judge and separate and try to annihilate and denigrate others.
Yeah.
You know, and this is another thing that we need to get is it's not necessarily about liking everybody, but it is about acknowledging people's differences, and rather than trying to destroy them for their differences, see what those differences contribute that you don't already have, because maybe somebody else has already invented that particular wheel and you can benefit from it. And if we would see our differences that way, and this is one of the other things about being You Day that I really would like to get across to people, is the people that are different in this world are so often judged and made wrong. And so they have a sense that difference is a wrongness in them. And what I like to ask people is, what if everything you thought was your greatest wrongness is actually your greatest strongness?
Yeah.
We can be a voice for that if we choose. And not from a, here's the other part is, some of the things that I say can be taken as, oh yeah, la la, let's just all sing kumbaya and, you know, and have a lovin'. And, you know, it's like, but no, this is actually practical and pragmatic, because this speaks to the very quality of the lives that we live. And we have so many people that have such amazing gifts to offer that are hiding because they've been made so wrong. And we have such gifts to offer, and we're not showing the world what we're truly about, what we're truly capable of most of the time, because there's no space for it, because people want us to fit into some invisible imaginary box that everybody else is trying to fit into, rather than go, hey, I see your box and I don't have one, but I don't begrudge you for having yours, but I'm different and I'm going to be that.
Yeah, like, hey, that's a cool box. I don't have anything in that box.
Yeah.
You know? I like your box, and I got this box. You like my box? Cool. If you don't, well, you know, whatever. You know, but yeah. I get what you're saying.
It's all good.
Nicole and I, we do a good job. If I'm frustrated with somebody for something, or she's frustrated with somebody for something, we try to turn it into let me now play devil's advocate for that person that can't speak for themselves now. Right? Like, what if they were thinking this when they said it, and you maybe took it a wrong way? You know, or what if their intentions with what they did were actually good and trying to help, but it's just perceived that it's not, because you don't know what everybody's thinking. And my biggest phrase is, closed mouths don't get fed, right? If you don't tell somebody that you need something or you want something or what's going on, you'll never get that feedback, and you'll never know, and you'll just live with that resentment, you know?
True story. I love that you guys do that. You know, post about that on Being You Day. You know, like, I mean, really, this is one of those things that you guys do, and it works. And yet a lot of people would never think about doing that. This is the sort of stuff, you know, in our own world, when we do something like that, we think, of course, it's too simple or it's not big enough or whatever. But just these simple, part of it is like simple life hacks, you know, to increase the quality of our lives that other people have, that if we had them too, would make our lives better.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And what is you said you work, or you co-founded an organization. Well, what's that organization you said it was?
It's called Access Consciousness.
And what can I find if I go there? If I go to accessconsciousness.com, I'm assuming, .com?
Yep.
Yeah, what can I find?
Oh, that you will find so much. Let's put it this way. We're in 176 countries around the world.
Oh, my gosh.
We have something like 11,000 facilitators doing different levels of this work, all of whom we do not try to control. We ask them to create. And so we have ways of changing quite literally almost anything that you might want to change. So we do classes, we do live and online classes. We do, we have a ton of books. It's like I've authored or co-authored something like 22 books at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Or 25, I think, if you include the 3 children's books. And tons of audios. There's just so much. And the idea is, it's called access consciousness. And our definition of consciousness is where everyone and everything exists and no one and nothing is judged. And it's really about creating a world beyond judgment and what we could be from there.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to tell all our listeners now to go there to accessconsciousness.com. And where can they find you if they want to see your stuff, your videos, motivational things, whatever it may be?
You can go to drdainheer.com, which is DRDAINHEER.com. And there is a ton of stuff there, and there's a ton of free stuff there. Because I've gotten so much from this work and being part of co-creating it for the last two decades plus that I really just want to pay it forward. And you can go to my YouTube channel, Facebook page. There's a ton of videos on a ton of things that are just there for the viewing and for the enrichment of your life.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Dain. Thank you for having this conversation with us. And I will try to take some of these tips that you gave us and definitely implement them in our day-to-day. And I'll be looking up in your social media to see what you have to say there. And early, happy International Being You Day.
Thank you very much. You guys are wonderful. It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome. Thank you. You have a good rest of your day.
You also. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Coco, it's your turn to talk now.
I didn't speak. Sometimes I just don't want to speak. I just listen.
You were
I'm
a
engaged.
Spectator and listener in this conversation. And that's okay.
I was very engaged.
Did you learn something?
By listening. Yeah, I learned a lot.
You know what I learned?
And I learned, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It really hit home when he was like, I know I have super high emotional intelligence, like not to brag or anything, but I feel so much that it's really, really hard sometimes. Not to where, I think that's where my anxiety can come from, because I'm like, I just am too, with people and animals, especially animals. Like today I was really worked up about people. My mom's like, don't talk about it, Nicole. Like, don't talk about it. And here I am talking about it. Like, I was just a little worked up about people having ponies at a birthday party, because I was just like, this poor ponies. I don't know the backstory.
She doesn't know the backstory.
I don't know the
backstory
of it at all. And this pony could be the happiest pony in the world. I didn't just see it once.
But you're saying in most instances.
I'm just saying, from me with my heart looking in, it just looks like this pony's being used for a prop.
Yeah, from place to place.
And it's sad to me. But I can't let it ruin my day, because I will let it ruin my day.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually filmed a video story on my Instagram, and I didn't post it because I was like, this is going to cause too much controversy. And I didn't say anything bad. I just said I want to be educated so I can move on with my day, so I can stop thinking about this. And
because you probably dwelled on that for a couple hours.
I did, and I just wanted to be told like they have awesome lives and it's not a big deal. But for me, it's like they always look sad. They're on this tiny rope and it's hot out, and there's just kids sitting and taking pictures. So it's hard on my heart. It really is. And so I have to work for hours to get past that. And now I'm on it again. And for example, earlier, my dad sent me a picture that one of his friends found a fawn in the woods when he was picking mushrooms. And I'm like, for an hour, I'm just like, I hope they left the fawn alone. The mom will be coming back. Now I have to worry about this fawn all day, and I have no control over it. So that's really hard for me, and that can take away from my happiness, because there's nothing I can do, and I don't know how to stop thinking about it. Yeah.
And I can get into a whole conversation about that, but you wouldn't want to hear it. But I totally feel what you're talking about. And it just sucks.
And people are like, you worry, this is what people say as a cut down, not people on the internet so much, but people even in real life will just be like, you worry about animals way too much. You need to worry about kids and humans and this and this. And I understand that. I just know that animals can't speak and animals can't do anything for themselves, so they're very vulnerable. And that's why I think I'm extra sensitive to them, because they literally have to do what we make them do. Yeah,
and speaking of which, changing gears, but still on the same topic, though, Nicole's puppies, I guess our puppies, Paris and Beyonce, poor doggies, they had diarrhea and upset stomachs for like the last 3 days. So Nicole's been dealing with that and having essentially no life for the last few days because she's been on 24-hour nurse watch.
Poop and puke cleanup.
Yeah, so, and they're finally feeling better today, so.
You can hear them like scratching in on the door, so it makes me happy. I'm like, yes, scratch.
Yeah, we put them in the bedroom while we podcast. So yeah. That's so.
But yeah, sorry to I was gonna maybe bring that up during the conversation because I realize that does stop my happiness a little bit from living my daily. I take on that I have no control over, so I need to get better at just being like,
that's not
there's
mine.
nothing I can do. That's not mine.
But the thing is, and you could do that, but you don't have to completely let it go because when you can, you do intervene. You know. I've seen you intervene with several animals, of which,
for example, sorry to bring this up again, another animal story. I don't know, I didn't tell you this. I told my mom because she went with me to the vet. When I took my dog, Paris, to the vet, she was really, really sick. And then there was one other guy, and it was really hard for me not to kind of judge him because he just looked like he had been up for 6 days, running completely, just looked like
he was drained. You could tell he was
but
out
also
of it.
just all over the place. And I'm like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
And then he comes in and he's like, he wants to put this dog down. And I look in his van, there's this very active dog. And they're like, sir, we can't put your dog down. It's not your dog. It's someone else's dog. They need to call and give permission. And I look and thinking there's going to be this old dog that can't do anything somewhere. And it's no, it's just active big dog in the car. And so I'm like, oh my God. So then the owner calls. He's like, all right, let me go to my car. And he comes back and he's like, all right, they're calling you. And then they called and they said, we want this dog put down. So then obviously I get taken back in the room and I talked to the tech and I was like, wait, do you guys just put dogs down for the hell of it? Because I was really pissed off because I'm judging this dog by being healthy. And she's like, no, we don't. If they're healthy and they just want them put down, no, we don't do that. And so I was like, okay, because that dog looks super healthy and I'm just really confused and I can't stop thinking about it. And now I'm really angry. And I wanted to say something to that guy, but I can't because I don't freaking know the story.
Yeah.
And she's like, they've never been here before, so we have to get the story. So it wasn't a customer. So then I was thinking, well, if they told him no, they'll probably freaking go shoot the dog. So this is what I worry about while my dog's sick and I'm trying to advocate for this dog to this tech who has no say in anything, and I'm just trying to
background information,
trying to put in her head
and they're not going to take this dog away from this guy.
You can't. They're not going to say, okay, well,
you got to leave the dog here with us now.
So I just wanted to say, can I take the effing dog? Can I take the dog if you want to? Because it didn't look, and I mean, I don't know if it bit somebody, and it's how that works. If it's, I don't know, but. That was something I couldn't let go either, and now I'm not going to be able to let go again, and now I don't know what happened to the freaking dog.
Well, that's one of those, it's a sad situation, and you don't, wish that on anybody, but it's also one of those things where, it's not yours.
I just don't think we should have control over taking, a dog's life, really. I don't think that, Unless it's, attacking someone or something, and there's this huge whatever.
I get what you're saying.
I just don't think you should just be able to and then I heard on the radio that having a pet is so expensive that some people just want to put their dogs down because they can't afford it anymore. And I'm just don't get a freaking dog.
Yeah.
Don't get an animal because animals are really expensive. They said now.
And it's not for me. It's so I saw in the news there was an uptick obviously during COVID in adoptions, big uptick. And now there's an uptick in returning dogs to the pound because people are going back to work and they can't, take care of the dogs. And Like, you imagine what that's like for the dog?
No,
you know,
I
they
can't.
get
I
so
don't wanna
attached
think
to
about it.
people and everything, and the dog's only flaw is loving unconditionally. That's literally a dog's
They're
only
literally on earth to be our best friend.
Yeah.
That's what dogs are here for. And they want nothing but love.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all they ask for.
They don't want for anything but food and water.
Yeah. and honestly, they don't even.
And they wouldn't even be mad at you. That's how loyal they are.
It's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, switching gears totally in the other direction. Nicole said earlier in the podcast that I got a motorcycle, and I did. Through something that I was doing, I met a guy, and this guy and I started talking about motorcycles. Just casually, because I'm not a motorcycle person. I don't know anything about motorcycles. I couldn't tell you anything except for the one that I have now. And he said, yeah, he's an older guy. He had this motorcycle, and he's looking to get rid of it because it just sits in his garage, and it's hard for him to even look at it because he feels bad. It should have an owner that can give it some tender love and care, you know, and kind of bring her back to life. And he was just kind of sad when he was talking about it. And I was like, you know, I'll take it off your hands. Thinking that he'd be like, well, you know, I'm going to sell it or whatever. He's like, okay.
Oh, you said that to him? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, Victor. What if he really didn't want to give it to you?
Well, he could have said no. He could have said he could have told me a price to sell it. You know, he could have did a million things, right? But if you don't put it out there, you'll never know. He'll never know that I was interested, right? So I just casually say, and if anything, I was joking. I was like, I'll take it off your hands. And he's like, okay. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah. No, he's like, I'm being dead serious. You'll be doing. He's like, you'd be doing me a favor, getting it out of my garage, you know, and you'd probably be one to give it, you know, some attention and be able to ride it. He's like, my riding days are over. And sure enough, within the week, now I have a BMW. It's a 1976 BMW R96. I took off the fairing on it, which is a windshield. It has one headlight. It has a twin valve engine. Just really old school, badass motorcycle.
It is pretty cool.
And I'm slowly bringing her back. I got her running, new battery, drained the fluids from it. Getting all the electrical is going to get done down the line, but it's going to one of my little projects now, and I love it. Actually, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, well, let me make sure it starts, and maybe I'll do a lap and come back and just make sure it starts. You know, that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
It's so cool, though.
Stresses me out a little bit, but
I know, but I'm not trying to be a speed demon. It's just cool to cruise, you know.
This fool thinks that he's going to put a sidecar on and I'd get in. He's nuts.
Victor,
I would never ever do that.
Nicole, how cool would it be? It used to have a sidecar attached, so it already has a...
Hey, I don't... Let's just not go there. I will never ever do that.
Think how cool you would look in a little helmet and some goggles and a scarf in the sidecar.
It's not worth it at all. We're about to have a child.
Well, not now, obviously.
No, even when
We'll cruise slow. It'll be perfect. It'll look really nice.
No.
Very vintage.
You couldn't pay me to do that.
That's what... No, okay. You know, you're going to do it. And,
no, I'm not.
And I'm not even going to force you to do it. I'm going to set it up, and you're just going to be like, I wonder what it's like to ride in a sidecar. Because who wouldn't want to ride in a sidecar?
Me.
Oh, my gosh.
Why don't you ride in the sidecar?
You don't know how to drive the motorcycle.
My dad can drive you around. You can ride in the sidecar.
I'd ride in the sidecar just to try it out. And then Dave can ride in the sidecar too, just so he could try it out. Oh my gosh. Anyways.
I could just see you with like a lab just sitting in there with the goggles and the scarf.
I've seen him around here, around this time of year, now that it's getting into summer over here.
Champ would do it.
Yeah, well, I've seen the guy out here. He has a motorcycle with a sidecar, and the dog has goggles, a helmet, and he just rides in the sidecar, happy as could be, tongue out, just...
I would do it if you went, if you were just going in town, 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, just cruising. I think that'd be really cool.
Never on a main road.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I think you'd enjoy it.
Maybe
more
in the
than
backyard.
Well, no, not in the backyard. That's grass. But no, I think it'd be a lot more fun than you're giving it credit for.
You have to become a really good driver first.
Do you have a weird or normal for us today?
Okay, yeah, I do. So since I've been...
Weird
or
normal.
Is it weird or normal to wash your hands before you go to the bathroom and after you go to the bathroom?
That is weird.
I've been doing that.
You've never used to do that before?
Nope. I started it since being pregnant.
You know what I wish you would do? I wish you would wash your feet before you get into bed And yeah, that's it. Just wash your feet before you get into bed.
Okay, you just totally took away my word of normal. So I wash. I think it's with like the whole COVID stuff and everything. And I'm like, I'll just wash my hands and then I'll go and then I wash my hands again because I don't know what I touched before I like
touch your stuff. Yeah,
I want to be really careful.
You're right. That's not a bad.
Because like you're going to the bathroom and like I'm just assuming a guy would have to like touch something,
touch his parts,
and then his hand could have been dirty.
Yeah, you're right. Well, if I know, like, if I was working on something or doing something where I knew where my hands were really dirty. But yeah, you're right. I don't really think about it. I just go do my business and wash my hands. I don't really, Yeah,
for some reason, it's like a OCD thing I do now. That I have to do it. Because I'm just like, you can't ever be too... We've been going through soap faster if you haven't realized.
No, I haven't. What I do realize is somebody doesn't return the toilet paper when we run out.
You didn't do that before either, so that was payback.
That's what What?
Payback.
I'm the one that has refilled it twice.
Payback.
3 times.
No, I honestly forgot. I'm sorry.
No, it's completely okay. You know what I don't like? Because I was just somewhere today and I had to use the restroom and it was a senior emergency number 2, right? But their toilet paper was like sandpaper. It was like construction paper. I was like, oh my gosh, why do people use this? And I understand it's cheaper, but at what expense? At what expense are we doing this to our bodies?
Getting paper cuts in your butt?
Oh my God, so bad. It's so bad. Thankfully, I didn't get a paper cut, but that's if I had the toilet paper a little bit more at an angle, I might have.
Oh my God.
I might have had to get stitches today.
You're a drama queen.
I'm just saying. I'm happy. You know what? And if people don't use them already, you should definitely use baby wipes.
It's not good for it's not good for like the...
It's flushable. You use them, so don't even try to argue the fact.
No, I use like 1 a month.
Okay, but if you haven't used it and you're listening to this saying, oh yeah, no, I don't use wipe, definitely use wipe.
Okay, but you can throw them in the trash.
Oh my God.
What? Oh, do you put poop on them? Okay.
Are you joking?
Scratch that.
Yeah, do not throw that in the trash. That's going to be one stinky bathroom.
I was thinking.
You imagine?
I was thinking it was just
I swear,
pee.
somebody came to my house, and then I went and used the bathroom later, and I went to just throw something in the trash, and there's a toilet, there's a wipe just stuck to the wall of the trash can.
Oh my God, yeah, that was really embarrassing. I got to edit that out, which I probably won't.
No, just leave it in.
That's hilarious.
So that's what you do. That's why our bathroom smells funny, huh?
So I was forgetting that you only use wipes when you gotta go number 2.
Yeah, why would I use them when I'm going number 1?
I don't use them when I go number 2. I use them when I go number 1.
Babe, game changer. Your mind will be blown.
Mine are like no wipers.
Okay, well...
I mean, I wipe, but there's nothing there. Okay. Like you're like wiping like 20 times. I can hear you like...
Oh my gosh. No, I am not. But that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. The easiest way is on the little purple app, Apple Podcasts. You can always go to Apple Podcasts on your online browser. And don't forget to tell people you can listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. And you can always go to www.cococalientepodcast.com and you can check out our merchandise there. Please don't forget to follow us at Coco Caliente Pod on at Coco Caliente Pod on Twitter and at Coco Caliente Podcast on Instagram. Thank you.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy Podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing while you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. And then we cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy Podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app.